Now, ahead of this weekend's off-cycle Anambra governorship election, Nigeria's electoral body InEC says only voter apathy can mar the success of the exercise. During a media session at the InEC headquarters in Abuja, Chairman of the Commission, Professor Joash Amupitan, said the collection rate of the Permanent Voters Card PVC is 98%. Arise correspondent Godfrey Eshomoge has details.
Anambra governorship election is the first big test for Professor Joash Amupitan as new InEC chairman, who resumed on October 23. He assured the media that the votes of the Anambra people will count following a series of meetings with electoral stakeholders. The InEC chairman also charged the people of Anambra State to demonstrate the strength of democracy by coming out to vote on election day.
During the election stakeholders meeting, we stressed a critical truth. The greatest enemy to Anambra democracy is not just external violence, but voters' apathy. With a register of 2,802,790 eligible voters, Anambra has the numbers to powerfully shape its own destiny. However, the historical slide in voters' participation in the state is genuinely worrying.
Professor Amupitan also assured of measures to deal with electoral officials who may engage in misconduct. He also says there is zero tolerance for vote buying.
As far as vote buying, which somebody even called vote trading, is concerned, we have zero tolerance for that. And we have won on several occasions. It's contrary to the provisions of Section 151 of the Electoral Act, which prohibit any form of inducement. So we await such evidence.
With confidence in Nigeria's electoral process in an all-time low, observers hope the new InEC chairman could use the forthcoming Anambra polls to rekindle hope. Godfrey Eshomoge, Arise News.
Okay, now for the very latest on the Anambra governorship election 2025, we'll be crossing live to the InEC office in Awka, where Arise News is parading some of the finest political correspondents in the land, being led by political correspondent Friday or local. Friday, what's the situation in Awka right now? It's the election eve. What's the situation with the distribution of sensitive materials, the preparations? What's the mood like in Awka? Could you share what the political atmosphere is right now?
Okay, thank you very much, Benga. Awka is cool, calm, and cozy. As early as 6 a.m., Arise crew visited the Central Bank of Nigeria, where the sensitive materials were kept. And when we got there, the information we got was that they have removed the materials to InEC offices. And as I speak, you can see the environment. Security operatives are everywhere. The officials are here. The atmosphere is calm. I got to the office. I am informed that 10 resident electoral commissioner recs are in Abuja, while there are 4 national commissioners who will take care of the 3 senatorial districts. So security is tightened, maybe because of the security situation that have really gripped the states and the southeast for some time. I've been told that as at yesterday, some of the sensitive materials have been sent to the local governments for distribution to the relevant areas.
That feedback. Now, give us some comments about how the voter atmosphere is this morning. Is it going to be a big turnout from what you are seeing? Are people motivated to show up for the election?
Okay. Well, the feelers on ground is that Anambra has been, in terms of election, voter apathy has been an issue that has dogged electoral process in the states. But it is believed that this is the time, like the INEC chairman has said, for them to put things in order, for them to determine their political destiny in the years ahead, in the 4 years. And the feelers we are getting is that since security, the atmosphere is becoming so calm, there might be tendency that the situation might improve, and in doing that, the residents of Anambra State will be writing history and putting their name, writing their name in the gold.
I know you are the central coordinator of the Arise team live in Awka in Anambra State. But talking about voter apathy now and some of the challenges of conducting a credible election, have you heard something from Ihiala local government? That was where the election was cancelled in the 2021 election, and what INEC is doing to ensure that we have a smooth conduct of the exercise there in Ihiala local government?
Yes, yesterday the INEC chairman in his a press briefing in Abuja, yes, touched on the issue of Ihiala. And according to him, the commission has really put certain things in place to make sure that history does not repeat itself. And that for as it is now, everything is in order, and the issue of Ihiala has been taken care of in terms of security and other logistic arrangements.
Speaking on security and voter sentiments, tell us, are there any reports of intimidation or vote buying so far?
Well, we cannot speak about that now because election has not started. But I am aware that the INEC chairman has really made it a point of duty that whoever indulges in vote buying, that is criminal, and the necessary stiffer sanctions will be imposed on them. We can only talk about the issue of vote buying and selling, that is commercialization of votes, if that will be during the election proper. Since election has not taken place, it's not ripe for us to speak whether vote buying is going to be a central issue.
Very much, Friday, your local Arise News correspondent. You can stand by. We might come back to you in due course for more updates. But for now, we'll be having the INEC Director of Voter Education and Publicity, Mrs. Victoria Eta-Messi, joining us live on Daybreak on Arise News for more updates on the INEC's preparation towards the Anambra governorship election that will be taking place in less than 24 hours. Thank you very much for joining us, Mrs. Eta-Messi.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, okay. Now, this is the first major test for the new INEC chairman. And analysts have zoned it into a three-cycle test of integrity test, impartiality test, and efficiency test. How prepared is INEC for this all-important election?
Thank you once again. So I think the Honorable Chairman is aware of the responsibility on his shoulders. This is going to be a make or mar for him because a lot of expectation is on him. And so he's aware of that. And that is why I think he has tried to tick all the boxes. We appreciate the fact that a lot of the activities had been put in place before he assumed office. But now he is sitting on the hot seat, and so he would have to take the credits, and God forbid if there's any issue, but we do not pray for that because everything has been put in place. You talked about the efficiency test. Looking at the beavers was an issue because in 2021, because, well, that was when we were just introducing it. Now there is optimization of its functionality, which was why we had the mock accreditation 2 weeks ago to test it in selected polling units.
Excellent.
To be sure that it would function optimally on election day with regard to voter accreditation and upload of results onto the IREV. With regard to integrity and transparency or impartiality, the series and layers of citizen engagements, I think, shows how the openness of the commission. We have put our cards on the table. We have engaged severally at various fora. We just came back from Anambra with the final stakeholder engagement meeting, which the Honorable Chair held with some of his national commissioners and some other management staff, which they held with security. The security leadership was there, religious leaders were there, traditional leaders were there, the media was there, and they were enjoined to go back and speak to their subjects to ensure that we have a peaceful and safe environment for the elections. With regards to integrity, I think basically considering the fact that we're putting everything in place and we're really interested in making sure that this election is a success. Like I said, it's going to be a litmus test for the new chairman. So he's not taking anything for granted. He's making sure that all that needs to be done has been done. Today we have barely 24 hours to the election. 12 out of the 13 activities as outlined in the schedule of activities for this election have been conducted. The only thing left now is the conduct of the election tomorrow. So I think we're set to go.
All right, I'm glad that you mentioned about it being like a litmus test. And you also spoke very briefly about the beavers, which is what my question is about, around the topic of transparency and technology being used in this current election. But how ready is that beaver system? And is there a backup plan if it is to fail?
Yeah, like I said, the beavers has been tested for optimal functionality. They have 5,718 polling units where elections would hold. We have 5,720, but 2 of those polling units have 0 registered voters. And so election will not hold in 2 polling units. So for the 5,718 polling units, we have tested beavers devices. We also have beavers devices assigned to split units, because there are some polling units that have huge numbers, and so there are additional devices that have been put aside for that. Again, there is redundancy. So in all, we have 6,800 plus beavers devices that have been put aside for this election. They have been tested, they have been configured, and we have RA Tech personnel on ground. Every registration area has an RA Tech personnel that would address any issue that may turn up in the course of the election. And every local government, again, has a supervisor that will be coordinating the activities of the RA Techs. So I think the personnel, the technicalities, yes, those that would address the issues as they come up. Well, we do not hope that any issue would come up. Well, technology can fail you when you least expect it, and that is why we have put on ground. We have, again, fully and professionally trained all the staff that would have to use this device. The presiding officers have been trained, the assistant presiding officers have been trained, and then the technical support, the technical staff are again on standby in event of any eventuality on election day.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Victoria Eta-Messi. Now, so much concern about changing the narrative and achieving a credible election, and this is, like you said, a litmus test for the new INEC chairman, Professor Joash Amupiton. Now, 7 flashpoints have been highlighted in the build-up towards the Anambra governorship election, and that's Awka North, Awka South, Ihiala. You remember Ihiala, what happened in Ihiala in 2021, and InEC North, in Demili North, which has the highest concentration of registered voters, and also Orumba South and Aye Melum, 7 flashpoints, and some people are also mentioning Agota, which is the home base of the incumbent governor, so making somehow roughly 8. So how prepared is INEC in giving a special attention that would mitigate such a reoccurrence of what we experienced in 2021 and have a smooth political transition in those areas? And also we look at the issue of the IREV. That is what people are expecting, that if INEC will be able to deliver that issue of instant transmission of result live, where there will be less controversy in this situation. So how prepared is INEC in terms of these expectations?
Okay, so with regard to the flashpoints, risk assessment was carried out before the election, and those areas were identified, which is why there is huge security reinforcement all around the state, but particularly those 6 areas, those local governments, the police has assured us, the police leadership has assured us, or has stated that they are going to deploy over 45,000, and they will be supported by other members of the security agencies who are members of the Inter-Consultative Committee on Election Security. So there is full security presence on ground, and in those areas there is reinforcement of security. So I think beyond that, also engaging with these communities, talking to the traditional rulers to go back and speak to their subjects. The chairman has reiterated the fact that Anambrans need to own this process. They need to take they need to see this as an opportunity for them to define their destiny in the next 4 years. And so if they decide to disrupt elections in those areas, they will be the worst for it. So we have tried to engage them. We've done series of sensitization. We have spoken to their leaders and their parents. So I want to believe that with security on ground and with the what word am I looking for now? Trying to make them see that this is an opportunity for them to take their future in their hands. Because if there is disruption of election, well, yes, INEC would take a slack for it, but then again, it would also affect them. And let us remember that INEC is concerned and interested in the fact that the election should be smooth, because that would again impede and affect the integrity of the election if it is marred by insecurity or violence outbreak. With regard to the issue of the IREV, like we said earlier, IREV is an uploading, it's a catalog. It gives you a catalog of results. And so what you have when results are uploaded onto the IREV is that you can go in there and check for any result of any of the polling units that you are interested in. It does not aggregate, so it is not what we have. I think we've reiterated that over and over again since the 2023 general election, that IREV only shows you the results as scanned from the polling unit. It does not aggregate to tell you who won, but it tells you what votes each party scored polling unit by polling unit. And that has been tested and we're set to go. So IREV will be open, and as the polling units, as the presiding officers conclude their exercises at the polling units, fill up the result sheet, that's the EC8A, and it is duly endorsed by the political party agents, and then he also validates it. He takes a picture of it using the beavers and uploads it to the IREV. So what you see on IREV would be like a photograph or a picture of all the polling unit results, PU by PU, RA by RA, local government by local government.
Okay, now you've spoken about the voter safety and how the police is standing in to support, but talk to the voters now who might be worried about intimidation during the time. What message do you have for them that are afraid of intimidation and violence during the election process?
Yeah, this was one of the messages, the targeted messages that we used during our voter education interventions. The Commission has again, through the Honorable Chairman, assured and reassured youth, because over 50% of our registered voters are youth. They could be used as a tool for violence. So they are the ones that are vulnerable on the one hand, and again, they could also be the tools of violence. And so we have spoken to them, reassured them, cajoled them, encouraged them to try and ensure that they do not allow themselves to be used by politicians to disrupt the elections. On our part, we're doing all that we can. And I think with the deployment of the security, I want to believe that the terrain would be peaceful and safe for all of them to turn out to vote. The chairman mentioned again the fact that he is worried at the low turnout of voters in the past. And we want to believe that this would be a deviation from the past, where we would have as many voters as possible, which was why it was the Commission took a decision on giving an extension for the collection of PVC. As at yesterday, when the chairman gave a press statement, he stated the fact that 98% of PVCs have been collected. So it's now no longer a matter of PVCs are in the custody of the Commission, but voters, registered voters, have collected their PVCs. So now the ball is in their court, and the Commission encourages and urges them to turn out, because everything has been put in place for a safe and peaceful election.
Okay, now still concerned about voter apathy. That seems to be the epicenter of the concern ahead of this election, and it's not far-fetched from a strong reminder of what happened in the Anambra 2021 election, where the election recorded less than 10%, about 10%, voter turnout. So now, as part of the build-up towards this election, we saw the signing of the peace accord by 16 candidates. How impactful will this peace accord be in the build-up towards this all-important election in Anambra State?
I think it should be. It should affect the outcome. All 15 out of 16 of the candidates actually signed that peace accord, and the current governor of the state reassured and spoke on behalf of other contestants, committing to ensuring that they will not take advantage of their citizens by fomenting any trouble. And they again attested to the fact that they will try to ensure that citizens' rights and that citizens' choice prevails ultimately. So I want to believe quite a number of them spoke. There was a symbolic handshake, and there was camaraderie amongst all of them. And they again made the statement that Anambra, that their family, and no matter what people see after the elections, they would go back and meet themselves at ceremonies and continue from there, that they are one. And so I want to believe, holding on to that they would speak to their subjects and to their followers and to their and to those who want to vote for them, so that the right thing is done and that people are not intimidated at the polling unit. The security will be there to ensure that citizens who turn up to vote are protected. That is the message from the Nigeria Police, which is the lead agency with regard to providing security for the election.
Now, one last question, if you can just give it in a very short and brief comment. How will InEC measure success after this election is concluded?
The first leg would be for us to start on time. That has always been a teething problem. And so once we start, poll commences or opens at 8:30. So once there is a huge percentage of opening across all the polling units at 8:30, and there is peace and there is improved turnout of voters, I think we would say that we have moved from the past and are making progress.
Well, the InEC Director of Voter Education and Publicity, Mrs. Victoria Eta-Messi, thank you for joining us live on Arise News. I remember you said you got back from Anambra yesterday, where you went to do a pre-survey of the situation on ground, and you're back here live. It shows your commitment to having a transparent, how serious InEC holds this election. Thank you very much indeed, Mrs. Victoria Eta-Messi. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's all we have time for here on Daybreak. I'm Benga Ashiru. Remember, it's Friday. Goodbye from me.
Please do keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is next. I'm Yolanda Robert. Goodbye.